They're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. And here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Friday. Thank flippin' flipper. It's Friday. You're looking absolutely amazing. And this is video 1 of 3. That's it. 1 of 3. 3 videos today. 1, this one, 2 later on, which I am actually going to be talking about something that's going to be pretty controversial, I think, because there is some things that have come out that don't look good for Brian. Really don't look good. And when you pair that with things that have been spoken about previously and you now put them all together, it does start to move the needle. And but let's talk about it, because I want to get your opinion on that one as well. So keep your eyes peeled. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit like and all that jazz, do it. It's free, $3.99, baby. But in this video, what we're talking about? We're talking about this traffic stop. Now, I would imagine that all of you have seen it. The traffic stop where Brian Kohberger was pulled over. He admitted to speeding. He admitted to not wearing his seatbelt. And this is seemingly the clip that was going to be used at trial that the defense didn't want shown. And there's some irony here, because we're going to be looking at Angenette Levy and what she has to say about it, where she simultaneously proves that the defense were right in what they were saying, exactly right, which, again, irony. We do keep seeing a lot of irony in the reporting that's coming out now, where you're thinking to yourself, well, you seem to have a problem with the defense saying that this could happen, while proving that after seeing it, it absolutely did happen. So this is what we're talking about. Listen to this. And we're going to talk about it. Remember, I do have to periodically stop it so we don't get struck down with furious anger. The rules be rules. Listen to this.
To his new home. But why does this traffic stop matter? There are a few reasons why this matters. It really set a timeline for the prosecution. This traffic stop happened on August 21st of 2022, and that date is incredibly important. This was...
First of all, the date's not important. It's prior to the crime, but that date in itself, in my opinion, it's not important. It's not important at all.
Around 11:30 at night, a little after 11:30 at night, and it happened less than 2 miles away from the house on King Road. And it happened to be the night before classes.
And let's just put this into context. So less than 2 miles... But where it is, he's not near 1122 King Road. He's closer to the shopping element, you know, where you could go and get food, where you could go and get a bit of shopping. Brian Kohberger is ASD, and he is going into an area where he frequented at a rate of approximately 1 to 2 visits per week, which I feel is completely normal. And during these times, he had been known to go out and buy fuel, go out and do shopping, go to the various shopping outlets here. It's cheaper in Moscow, Idaho than it is in Washington, where he lives. Both fuel and food, all of the necessities are cheaper, and Brian Kohberger isn't wealthy. So if there is money to be saved, he's going to save money. We also know Brian Kohberger is a night owl. He is still being a night owl in his incarceration, which is quite frustrating to others. So all of these things are not unusual. He is a night owl. He frequently goes out at night and does numerous things, and I imagine that some of those are likely to go out and do his shopping and get his bits and pieces where there is fewer people about, because he's not, from what we can see, he's not the people person. But let's go on and see what Ange says about this.
For the fall semester at the University of Idaho. Now, we knew that Brian Kohberger was a night owl, of course, but why is he over in Moscow this late at night? Yes, his defense team said he's somebody who likes to drive around at night, but he's all the way over in Moscow. Yes, it's about a 15-minute drive away, but still, he's over driving around in Moscow. It's almost midnight. And the prosecution was going to present a cell phone expert who said that between July and November, they're going to have this FBI analyst testify that between July and November of 2022, Brian Kohberger's cell phone was in Moscow on 23 occasions.
Let's just put this into context as well, because remember, this is after the plea deal. So this is a new video. This is a new video. Check this out, just to prove to you, this is a new video. So 19 hours ago. And why is that important? Why this is important? Because this video is released to the public in the aftermath of Bill Thompson coming out and saying that there is no connection between Brian Kohberger and the actual property, 1122 King Road, during those 20 odd times. In fact, where he is picked up, he would have been picked up on that tower where he is sitting there, having this seat belt and speeding conversation. So that is not indicative of stalking, which again, this is seemingly what Angenette Levy is doing here. She is still trying. She's literally at this stage, she is arguing with the lead prosecutor, who the lead prosecutor is saying there is no evidence, no connection between Brian Kohberger and the house. And he goes on to say that it's even likely that Brian Kohberger could have randomly picked this house just before he entered it. So he could have picked any house. That's how little of a connection that there is. And the fact that the closest he seems to get to the house in terms of data collection that they have is that he never got close enough to the house itself to make a leap onto a tower that actually services the property. It always drops short. So he's on the tower that covers the highway and the external area to the house. So he doesn't it doesn't get to beyond 100 meters of the property. Whereas if you're going so far, it will latch onto a different tower and you're on the same tower that covers the actual house. So there is no connection to the property. So I wonder why Angenette Levy at this stage is still trying to push this stalking narrative. But let's carry on a second.
10 p.m. and 4 a.m. and that he was within a football field of that house on King Road. So he was in that general neighborhood, in the general vicinity. We, of course, didn't get to hear that testimony, but there are those are the significant things about this traffic.
No, you didn't get to hear the testimony, but you have subsequently heard Bill Thompson speak about this specific situation, and you are purposefully ignoring it. And I would wonder why you're purposefully ignoring it. Why are you purposefully ignoring what Bill Thompson has said about this situation?
He's in his white Hyundai Elantra, controlling that vehicle, and he's in that general vicinity, offering up the cell phone that places him there. And it's right before classes start at the University of Idaho. He's trolling. He is circling the area, kind of like a predator, like a vulture.
How bad is that? How bad is that? And again, I get it because Brian Kohberger's pled guilty. So now it's free for all, isn't it? And it was free for all before. Do you know what I mean? These people were doing the same thing before he pled guilty. So I didn't expect it to get better. But what I find disgusting in this situation, this ain't about protecting Brian Kohberger even. What I'm trying to talk about here is that media like Dateline, like Court TV, like News Nation, like these individuals, they have a way, they have something that they want to do, and they do it. And that's all they get in their head. It's just a case of, this is what I want to talk about, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to say what I think is going to click with the most people. And at this stage, now Brian Kohberger is admitted to the crime, there's going to be a lot of people where you're going to garner a lot of support by condemning Brian Kohberger. But it's whether that condemnation is warranted. And in this situation, I want you to let me know down below, is that condemnation warranted? Or is this just about you pushing a narrative to gain popularity through the community that wants it? They want it. There's a lot of people who are still looking for affirmation. And by the way, turn your mic upside down. What you need to do is take this windscreen off, and then this here, you can swing it the other way, and then you can mount it so that writing is the right way around. Public service announcement. See, I'm not just a complete arsehole.
So let's take a look at this traffic stop, and then you're going to hear why the defense didn't want the jury to see it if the trial had happened.
649. Hey there. I stopped you going a little fast. You didn't realize this is 35?
Oh, it's 35?
It is, yeah. So you're going.
41?
Yeah, 43.
So straight away admits that he's speeding. Doesn't argue it, just straight away 41 or 43, which to be fair, you can be slightly out. You can be slightly out. Your speedo isn't like, I'll go through some of the automated things, not like I'll say mine will say I'm going 31 on the digital readout, and the thing on the side will say I'm going 33.
What the radar said. Oh yeah. Do you have your license, the registration, insurance? Were you wearing your seatbelt when I stopped you? No. That's no good.
Right. Just being honest with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You guys are... There's absolutely no point in not being honest.
Yeah.
You have a radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, what do I take from this? Well, first of all, look, his car looks relatively clean. It's not a shit pit. He's got all of his documentation, so he's driving around at night, which we know is something that he does. It's not out of the ordinary. And for the aforementioned reasons, it makes sense for him to travel here. It's 10-15-minute drive to a place that is much cheaper than where he lives. And we know that he did this, again, as aforementioned, at a frequency of 1 to 2 times per week. Not unusual. I don't think that anything here is indicative of him doing anything nefarious. And again, he's got all of the correct documentation, so he's above with the law. He knows everything. He's got it all to hand, and he is just open and honest. And you are seeing traits of ASD, very blunt, very matter of fact. But you know, this is just typical. I'm not seeing anything odd here whatsoever. But we are going to see the irony in it in a second.
Do you have a vehicle registration slip or something like that? Okay.
Or did I give you my insurance?
Yeah, this is your insurance. That's good. Thing is, I'm on a overtime shift right now. One of the conditions is we have to enforce seatbelt laws, and so to write you a citation for that, it's $10 in Idaho. Not a huge deal, but yeah. Be right back.
So there you see Brian Kohberger talking to Deputy Darren Duke of the Latah County Sheriff's Office. He's pulled over for speeding, of course. And
what do you mean pulled over for speeding? Of course. So again, you know, this is when someone says that, that is showing their mentality. That is just an insight into them as an individual. You know, she is on the attack. So every single little element of this is about an attack. So even that pulled over for speeding, of course, that is an attack.
He's not wearing a seatbelt. So Deputy Duke's like, hey, you're speeding, but now you're not wearing a seatbelt. And you heard how Kohberger, fessed up to that and said, yeah, I'm not wearing my seatbelt. But then Deputy Duke goes and runs his plate and it comes back clean. So here's the rest of the exchange where Kohberger starts asking some questions.
AM 329 Pennsylvania, valid 2024 and clear.
What questions is he going to ask? What questions?
All right, sir. Here's your license back. It's here. Just an infraction citation. The only thing you're alleging
failure to wear your seatbelt on the traffic stop. Like I said, the fine at that's $10. You do have the right to a hearing on this if you'd like one. If you'd like hearing, you need to request it before September 8th at 8:30. Otherwise, they'll automatically be entered against you. You'll lose the right to the hearing. You just wanted to pay it. The mailing address there, website right there.
Yeah, I just have a question about that. So in terms of like, when you get a speeding ticket that's obviously reported to your insurance, is that the same thing with the seatbelt?
I don't think so. I think it's only moving violations that go to insurance, or things that might put points on your license.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Could I get a phone number from you?
So he's just asked, if you didn't hear there, what he seems to be querying is whether when you have this kind of stop, is the insurance company notified? Because I would imagine at this stage, Brian Kohberger, again, he's not wealthy. He's not a wealthy individual. And probably he is having to take into consideration everything that he spends, which again feeds into that. He's looking to save money where he can save money. He's coming to this area because it's cheaper. And he's possibly at this stage contemplating, fuck, is this going to go to my insurance company? And then am I going to get a raised premium? Am I going to end up having to pay more money because of this situation? That's my interpretation of what's happening here, which in terms of raising questions, this is just, again, feeding into normality. This is a normalcy. This isn't nefarious. This isn't asking questions that are odd or indicative of him being a killer.
Yeah, why?
We need to put it on the citation as it goes to the...
And this was about his mobile phone. Obviously, as part of this, they are requesting his phone number. Now, not being funny, but I would be exactly the same. I would be exactly the same. I don't want people having my phone number. The only people who have my phone number are people who I'm giving it to and who I want to have it. And in this situation, I wouldn't be putting my phone number on there. That is as simple as that, because I don't want them to have it. And they do not need it. They do not need my phone number. They've got my name, they've got my address, they can send me a letter. They do not need my mobile phone number, and they certainly wouldn't be getting it. Simple as that.
And just for future reference, I'm obviously an honest person, right? I told you I wasn't wearing my safety belt. When people lie to you about that, say I lied to you about that, right? Just for my own knowledge. Do you honestly go back and look at that, or do you just...
With a seatbelt like this, I didn't check as I was coming up, so that's why I asked you.
Do you usually?
I should. I noticed you weren't wearing it, and I'm on this emphasis, and like I said, I'm getting paid by ICD, and they want us to enforce the seatbelt law,
So this is when they're basically on a quota. The cops, they get incentivized for doing certain things at certain times. So he's obviously on one at the moment that they'll be incentivized for the most people who they can catch without their seatbelts. Another one that might be someone turning left when they should be turning fucking right, or speeding or whatever. It's the same in the UK. They have to do it. But what he is saying there is basically, look, I was honest. But if I weren't and I lied, would you be checking up on it to see that I lied? And he's basically turned around and said, well, in this instance, I didn't even notice. Now, I should have looked, but I didn't. But you done me a favour. And he's going to go on to say, so I basically got fucked for being honest then.
was being more aware of that. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have a good night.
So in terms of this stop, let me know down below what you think of this stop. We're just going to see now what Angenette Levy goes on to say about it, and this is where the irony comes into it.
So it's a little weird there. Brian Kohberger's like, I'm an honest person, but if I had lied to you, like, what would you have done? That kind of thing. So it's kind of an interesting little exchange.
It's really not. It's really not. You can read into it as you want. That to me is one of the most normal human interactions in that incident I've ever seen, and I would probably be exactly the same. And I've not killed anyone or plan to.
Defense hated this. Hated this. They did not want the jury to see this at trial, but
see where the irony is coming in.
prosecution had asked Judge Hippler to let the jury see it. And so listen to what Alyssa Massa had told the judge about why he shouldn't
listen.
allow it.
It's our position that the traffic stop video brings in other acts that the state is trying to end run on. And I want to give you examples. In this video, things that make it more prejudicial than probative are that it provides presence in Moscow. It is at night. It is a visual of the car that is not just the make and model. It is Mr. Kohberger's statement that he doesn't think seat belts provide much in the way of safety. Mr. Kohberger's question about why they need his phone number. Mr. Kohberger's question about how the officer reacts when people lie to him about wearing a seatbelt. If the court allows this evidence in, the state has the ability to use this to make many other points beyond identity. And the jury would have the ability to potentially seek to ask to rewatch the video. And
see what's going on? Can you see the irony here?
Other conclusions that we are worried about, such as I mentioned, him being at night, not wanting to, it being at night, him not wanting to give his phone number, which could be construed as he wants to hide his identity.
Date of this traffic stop.
Pardon?
Remind me of the date of the traffic stop.
It is on August 21st. So it's
What year?
of 2022. So it's remote. It's
Before the murders.
yeah.
So Bill Thompson, the lead prosecutor in this case, he said there's no reason why the jury shouldn't see this. What's the big deal?
I'm going to leave it there because what's the big deal? And this is where we get to say about irony. I'll tell you what the big deal is. This, you have single-handedly, Angenette Levy, proven what the big deal is. You have taken a very, very normal situation of someone getting pulled over, and you have pulled it to pieces. You have made it look like this is indicative of hunting people down, of stalking people, of being a predator. That's the irony in all this, and this is exactly why the defense had a problem, when in reality, what you are seeing here is just a traffic stop. An individual who was pulled over for speeding in an area that they were unfamiliar with. They were open, they were honest, they had all the relevant legal documentation, so not trying to hide their identity by saying, oh, I don't have any paperwork on me whatsoever. Nothing. They showed everything, and the one thing they queried, which was the mobile phone number, I imagine that many people would query why in such a simple stop that the police would be requesting for you to give them your personal mobile phone number. I certainly would, but you have turned it into this situation that is indicative of him being a predator. I rest my case. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Mwah.